Welcome to the Add Heart Podcast, the podcast that inspires heart-first living. This is where you'll get practical tools to reduce stress, inspire creative action, and energize your personal growth momentum, along with ways to apply these tools. And now, here's your host, Deborah Rozman.
Hello, I'm Deborah Rozman, and a warm welcome to our listeners. The purpose of the Add Heart Podcast is to inspire forward movement and heart-powered intention. My topic this episode is Add Heart to Parenting, and my guest, Dr. Jorina Elbers, is the creator of a new program, Heart Math for Parents, that teaches simple tools to use in the moment to manage overwhelm, regain composure, and build the personal resilience needed to be the parent or grandparent you want to be. And this program is available now. I have known Jorina for many years, ever since she worked at Stanford Children's Hospital as a pediatric neurologist. She also created HeartMath's program, The Resilient Heart, for addressing trauma. And now, as a parent of two young boys, she's passionate about sharing with parents the way she's learned to use HeartMath tools to manage feelings of overwhelm, anxiety, or frustration as a parent, and to help children express and manage their emotions in a healthy way and have productive conversations with less upset. Welcome, Jorina.
Thanks so much for having me, Debbie. There's so much going on in the world right now, so much chaos and uncertainty, that it's such an important time for us as parents to get a foothold and to find some stability for ourselves and for our children. So I'm really happy to be here and love this topic.
Well, thank you so much. It is so important right now. And in fact, you say parenting is the world's biggest personal growth opportunity. What is a key thing you've learned using HeartMath tools with your boys? Where have you grown?
Well, I think I'd like to start off and say that for me, parenting has been the most difficult job. I think it's one of the hardest jobs in the world. And, having done medical school and residency and call and long hours, there isn't really anything that compares to the depletion that you can get as a parent. And, when I'm depleted, I'm not my best self. And I can't parent as well as I want to parent when I'm depleted. And for many of us, that's where we end up parenting from. So I think one of the biggest ways that HeartMath has influenced my parenting is really building awareness of when I'm depleted and giving me the tools to work with in that situation. So if I have a big, upset over something small, I have some awareness around that and can be like, okay, where did that come from? There's probably something else going on here. And with that awareness, I can choose something different. There's a choice point. And we say awareness precedes change. And I think that's where that personal growth opportunity is those moments where we can choose something different.
I like that. We talked about the HeartMath tools being things people can do in the moment rather than after the fact, after you're already drained and burned out, and then to recoup. And I think that's so important for that, building that awareness, because you're aware and then you go, oh, what do I do about it? And that is the biggest issue. And so I know you talk a lot about that in HeartMath for Parenting, is the importance of being aware, but then catching yourself and saying, here's what I can do to shift or become a different person than what I would have been if I just reacted.
That's right. And, I think those moments of, there are so many of them that come up throughout the day that can be that choice point of, can I, if I have a conflict with my child or with my partner, am I using that as an opportunity to blow off steam right? And vent and get upset? Or am I going to use that as an opportunity to connect? And that's where the heart really comes in, because when I can connect to the heart and slow down and do some heart focused breathing, my whole frequency changes, and the desire and the need to blow off steam goes down, and my desire to connect goes up. And I end up doing things differently when I'm in my heart, when I'm coming from a heart frequency of patience or understanding. And things turn out really differently when I do that.
No, I love that. The other thing people often do, and we all do this in our own lives when something triggers us and we can't just connect right away, is process. I should have said it this differently. I'm not a great person. I'm bad. All this self-talk that is really depleting and draining and non-effective. Yet we think we're being good doing that. Mm-hmm. And one thing about using HeartMath tools in the moment, whether it's for parenting, grandparenting, or just parenting yourself, is really how it can stop that drain and shift perspective and give you something healthy to do with your thoughts and feelings, rather than processing how you wish you would have, could have, should have done something different.
Yeah. I think as parents, we can be really critical of ourselves. We should have done things differently. I should have known better. And, I think that'll come up. It still does for me. And it's not quite as loud. And I think it's a little easier for me to have compassion, at least through the heart focused breathing. I get to neutral around it. And from that neutral place, it's hard for me to go to compassion from, frustration and anger at myself. It's a big leap. But if I can get to neutral with the heart focused breathing, and then I can sort of move into that love and that compassion for myself that, I didn't do that very well. And then I give myself permission for, apologizing and saying, hey guys, I didn't show up there the way that I wanted to. And can we do that again? Can I have a do-over on that? And now they have that language now too. And so they can do it back to me. And sometimes I'll prompt them. I'll say, you know what, was that the best way to respond? Like, how about you try that again? And then they'll try it again. And so we have this back and forth now as part of our, just our everyday and the language that we use.
That's wonderful. I love that. That just allows the acceptance of feelings and knowing that we can self-correct, self-adjust, or try over. In fact, I was going to ask you, how do we allow our children to experience intense emotions in a healthy way and not get triggered ourselves? What do you do in that situation?
Well, I think that's a big one. I think intense emotions are a hook for parents. A lot of the time, because we ourselves are not comfortable with intense emotions. I mean, I know for myself, I kind of grew up, if I was really upset, I was allowed to cry, but I had to do it in my room. You can cry, but go to your room. I don't want to see it. And so you kind of push it away, and you have this feeling that intense emotions are bad, or that I'm bad for having an intense emotion. And I think there's a risk when we don't let our children experience these intense emotions, and that they can suppress them. And there's a lot of depression that our youth are experiencing. And so encouraging the expression of emotions is part of being healthy and letting that energy move through. And so, one of the things that we talk about, in our family and in the parenting course that we're launching, is really validating emotions, naming them. If the child can name them, or we can help them name them, and really allowing them to have that angry feeling, frustrated feeling, and not necessarily needing them to change it. And I think that there can be some confusion with the term self-regulation. right? That self-regulation doesn't mean feel something differently or stop feeling this way, right? It means don't break the furniture or hit your brother.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to accept our children in that emotion, whatever they're feeling. We can sit with them. We can let them know that we're there for them in that emotion. But we can set boundaries with them. You know, it's not okay to say hurtful things. It's okay for you to feel this way, but you know, when you say these things in that emotion, it can be hurtful. You can't break things. You can't hurt people. And so acceptance of the feeling with healthy boundaries, and really allowing the emotion to move through. And I think that I know for myself, sometimes I've been, you know, that's part of getting triggered is like, this is going to last forever, you know, that this intense emotion is coming out and they don't, right? These emotions, they move through. It's a form of energy. And so knowing that this is going to end, and can I just be with this, not of it, but just allow my child to be, you know, be in this and be with them as they're moving through it in love and acceptance.
So if you really get triggered by something they say that affects your feeling of value as a mother, or you feel hurt or whatever, what do you do? What tool do you bring out? You do heart-focused breathing, but what else do you do?
Well, I do a whole lot of heart-focused breathing. That's exactly what I do. You know, and sometimes sometimes it's not enough. And sometimes I'll need my partner to come in. So if I've been sitting with my child for a long time, for example, you know, it's been half an hour and there's a spiraling of this, you know, emotional intensity, and I don't feel like I can continue to hold it in the way that I want to, then, you know, if you have a partner, you can ask your partner to sort of tag in. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I will say, you know what, I need a break right now. Like I need to reset.
Yeah.
And again, you know, the best way for our children to learn these tools is to have them see us use them.
Yep.
And so I'll say, you know, I need to do some heart-focused breathing, or I need a break, and let them know that that's what I'm doing. And I'll take, you know, they'll see me take a breath. Or if I have really little children, when they were really little, one tip was to, you know, to say like, mommy needs to go to the bathroom right now, right? Because they can understand that. And, you know, as long as they're safe and you know what, I'm still with you and I can talk to you through the door, but mommy just needs to go to the bathroom. And then I would, you know, go into the bathroom and do some, just to get a little bit of space, or even just another side of the room, and I can still see what they're doing and I can take my break from there.
That's great. You know, you explained to me one point that adding heart, you know, putting out heart energy during conversations with your child was so important as well. And that you or any adult in a conversation with a child can breathe and not scream, but you're still lecturing, and lecturing still misses a certain heart exchange. And that what you say, the heart frequency, when you tap into it, is what brings a place of understanding and acceptance and connection with your intuition on what to do. Can you say more about that? That seemed really profound to me. And any story you can share.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we, you know, many of us have had the experience of like, I'm calm, you know, I'm really calm right now, but but you're still, you know, you can be patronizing, you can be belittling, you can be critical, but calm. And that's not the same thing as being in your heart and being coherent. And so, you know, I had this great experience with my older son. He's 11. And, you know, it was 9:30 at night and I was going in to tuck him in. And sure enough, he was on his phone, on his screen. And we've had so many conversations about screen time and not being on his phone. And in that moment, I wanted to yell at him. I wanted to like, you know, what are you doing? You know? And I did. I took 10 seconds and I got in my heart and I did some heart focused breathing. And I was really able to come in with a different energetic. And that energetic that ended up coming out was of understanding, right? You know what, honey? I get it. That screen is so addictive. And, I have a hard time and dad has a hard time. And we all, we're having a hard time with this screen. And what can we do about it? Right? And I really engaged him in the conversation about it. And we talked about what the screen is doing to his brain and dopamine and, how the YouTube shorts are really just giving him that, that surge of dopamine every minute. And that your brain just starts searching for that over and over and over again. And it's not good for your brain. And we were able to just have a conversation rather than me yelling at him and taking his phone and, all the other things that can easily happen in a situation like that. And I ask him questions in that space of, what do you think about this? And what was so interesting after that conversation, and it was really a moment of connection. And this is what I mean. If we can come from a place of heart, we can turn these moments of conflict into a moment of connection. And I asked him afterwards, I said, how does my response to you in these moments, if I have a different kind of response where I'm asking you and engaging you in these things, he's old enough, we can talk about it. How does it change, this conflict for you? And he, he's pretty insightful. And he said, well, it really makes me think about it more. It makes me think about, what I did and why I shouldn't. And, I said, and how is it different than if I were to yell at you and take your phone away? And he said, well, if you did that, I would just think about how not to get caught next time, right? And it puts him on the defensive. Oh, mom's so mean, or she's so unfair, or she's so this, right? When I act in that way. So if I come from a different space, a higher frequency of patience, understanding, then I engage him in that conversation, and he's able to get and self-reflect and not get defensive. And it just changes the whole dynamic.
Well, that's wise advice, I think, with anyone where there's a potential conflict situation, adult or child. Taking that pause, doing the heart focus breathing, getting back into your heart. And then obviously, according to the research of heart math, as you put in and activate those feelings or heart qualities of patience, kindness, not just to be a doormat, but to really connect with your intuition, which is what it sounds like you did, whether you thought of it that way or not, on what to do. The questions you asked, how you handled it, had a lot of heart intelligence to it. So I think that's important to understand the mechanism, the process, so that people really can know they can do it. It's really possible.
That's right. No, I mean, I'd never planned to have that conversation. That was certainly not, something I thought about or premeditated in advance. It came in the moment with that connection to my intuition.
Is there any other advice you'd like to share on what parents, grandparents, family, friends, caregivers, teachers, anyone can do to help children find more ease and balance during these insecure and terribly uncertain times in the world?
I really think that it's about helping our children learn flexibility and resilience. And I mean, we use that word a lot at Heart Math. And I think in a world of uncertainty and change and chaos in the world that we're living in, building the skills for flexibility and then resilience, the ability to adapt in the face of change, to prepare for the stress that's coming up, to bounce back from stressors. Those things are so important. And so how do we model that for our children? And then how do we help our children develop those skills of resilience and really talking about it. Hey, let's be flexible here. Let's find a different solution. And really being careful of our energy management and those depleting energies, because when we're depleted, that ability to change, that flexibility is lost. And we move towards, either chaos or rigidity.
Very, very well said. And of course, that's what motivated you and HeartMath for us to do this HeartMath for Parents program, because everything you're talking about is really providing parents or caregivers skill set tools to really learn how to do this. And I think that's wonderful because we're doing it for ourselves as well as for our children.
Absolutely.
Well, let's do a heart meditation together on adding heart to parenting. And let's remember we're all parenting ourselves, whether or not we have children in our lives. So let's center in the heart and just breathe in the heart qualities of love, gratitude, or appreciation for a few minutes to warm the heart and increase your heart coherence. Now radiate heartfelt love and appreciation to the children in your life, to children that you care about.